Good afternoon, friends. I hope you people are healthy and fine. In furtherance of previous lecture, today I am going to discuss criminal trespass. This offense is incorporated under section 441 to 462 of the Indian Penal Code. Sections 441 to 462 of the Indian Penal Code deal with the offense of criminal trespass and its aggravated forms. However, before delving into the offense of criminal trespass and its aggravated forms, it is worth to note that trespass ordinarily is a civil wrong. It is primarily a civil wrong for which the defendant can sue for damages. But when trespass is committed with a criminal intention, it is treated as an offense and is made punishable under the Indian Penal Code 1860. The object behind making trespass a criminal wrong seems to be to keep the trespasser away from the premises of dwelling house or property of private persons, and thereby to enable them to enjoy their property without any interruptions. A reading of the following The offence of criminal trespass is akin to the offence of forcible entry in English law. However, the Indian law is very different from the English law. The English law makes forcible entry by a multitude of people by such force as to constitute a public breach of peace, an offence. But the offence of criminal trespass articulated under Indian Penal Code is quite different. Section 41 say that whoever enters into or upon property in the possession of another with intent to commit an offence or to intimidate, insult, or annoy any person in possession of such property, or having lawfully entered into or upon such property unlawfully remains there with intent thereby to intimidate, insult, or annoy any such person, or with intent to commit an offence, is said to commit criminal trespass. It is the provision of section 441 of the Indian Penal Code about criminal trespass. Section 447 talks about punishment for criminal trespass. It says that whoever commits criminal trespass shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 3 months, or with fine which may extend to 500 rupees, or with both. The object of 441 is to protect possession of property. The essence of the offence of criminal trespass is entry into property under possession of another with intention to commit an offence. Section 441 is concerned with exclusive possession and not ownership of the property in which an unauthorized entry was effected into. Now, what are the essential elements of this offence? If you read whole section of 441, it has two limbs, or it has two parts. The first limb refers to an entry into property. First limbs refer to an entry into property in the possession of another with intention to commit an offence, or to intimidate, insult, or annoy the person in possession, and the second to the remaining in possession having lawfully entered into the property with the intention of intimidating, insulting, or annoying the person in possession of such property, or with the intention of committing an offence. Thus, the essence of the offence of criminal trespass lies in an unauthorized entry or an unlawfully retention of the lawful entry with intention to commit an offence, or to intimidate, insult, or annoy the person in possession of the property. The essential ingredient of criminal trespass are entry into or upon property in the possession of another. And second is that if such entry is lawful, then unlawfully remaining upon such property. Third point is that such entry or unlawful remaining must be with intent to commit an offense or to intimidate, insult, or annoy the person in possession of the property. So first core word is whoever enters. The opening word of the section is whoever enters, meaning that in order to constitute an offense under this section, there must be an actual person entry, there must be an actual personal entry upon property by the accused. So personal entry is required. Constructive entry, for instance, by a servant will not amount to entry within the meaning of the section. The entry need not necessarily be by use of force. It is sufficient if the entry is unauthorized and against the will or without the consent of the person in possession of the property. Second important element of this offense is property. One of the essential ingredient of this section is entry into or upon. Entry upon the property of another person. दूसरे की property पे entry करता है. This section uses the general term property, hence it is wide enough to cover both movable and immovable property. The accused should enter into or upon property with intention stated in the provision to constitute the criminal offense of criminal trespass. तो entry जो है ये दूसरे की प्रॉपर्टी पे है, चाहे प्रॉपर्टी मूवेबल हो या इमूवेबल. फॉर एग्जांपल दूसरे की कार है, दूसरे की जीप है, आप उसमें जा करके बिना पूछे विदाउट टेकिंग परमिशन यू और समवन सिट इन द व्हीकल, ये मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी में ट्रेसपास हो रहा है. या किसी की खाली जमीन पड़ी है, मकान पड़ा है, वहां चले गए बिना पूछे, with certain required intention, it is a crime. Hence there can be criminal trespass to a motor car, aeroplane, railway carriage or a boat. In Dhananjay versus Provat Chand Biswas, All India Reporter 1934 Calcutta, बहुत पुराना केस है. A person had leased out a boat. उसने एक नाव को लीज पे दे दिया था. The accused attacked the lessee of the boat, drove him away and took possession of the boat. He then plied it across the river and collected the money. The Calcutta High Court held that it would amount to committing criminal trespass. However, the word property does not include incorporeal property, such as the right to collect tolls. A person had taken on lease the right to collect tolls leviable from persons entering upon a certain public road for selling their wares. The accused sold his wares in the street without paying the toll. It was held that the right to collect toll could not be a subject of an offense of criminal trespass. Next important element is possession of another. The property must be in possession of another person. For an offense of criminal trespass to be committed, the entry into or upon the property should be in respect of property in possession of a person other than the trespasser. The section contemplates actual physical possession to the exclusion of all other persons. In order to constitute criminal trespass, the legality of the possession of property is not material. As stated earlier, the object of the provision is to protect possession and not the ownership. So if a trespasser is in settled possession of a property, then he can maintain an action for criminal trespass even as against the true owner. However, it is not essential that the person who is in possession of the property should be present in the property when the trespass takes place. So, a trespass with intention to commit an offense or with intention to insult, intimidate or annoy the person in possession is sufficient to constitute the offense of criminal trespass, even if at the time of actual entry The person concerned was absent from the property. आप अपनी व्हीकल छोड़ के चले गए हैं दूर थोड़ी और कोई आकर के बैठ जाता है तो ये मान लिया जाएगा कि ये क्रिमिनल ट्रेसपास है. Intention, you know, mental element is always very important to constitute an act as a crime. So let us see what is the role of intention in this offense. Entry into property of another with intention to commit an offense or intimidates, insult or annoy the person is the essence of the offense of criminal trespass. The word intent by its etymology seems to have a metaphorical allusion to archery and implies aim and thus connotes not a casual or merely possible result foreseen, perhaps as a not improbable incident, but not desired, but rather connotes the one object for which the effort is made and thus has reference to what has been called the dominant motive without which the action would not have been taken. Therefore, according to section 441, the dominant intention, aim or object of the trespass on the property of another should be to commit an offense or to intimidate, insult or annoy the person in possession of the property. There is a leading case, Mathri versus State of Punjab, All India Reporter 1964, Supreme Court, page number 986. The accused in this case, along with others armed with warrants for delivery of possession in execution of several decrees, enter upon the property in possession of another. At the time of the entry, warrants had ceased to be executable in law. The Supreme Court held that the accused and others had entered the property only with the intention of executing the warrants and not with the intention to commit an offense or to intimidate, insult or annoy any person. A lay person could not be expected to know that a warrant has become inexecutable in law. Under the circumstances, it was held that since the requisite intention contemplated under the section was absent, the act didn't constitute an offense of criminal trespass. Next point is remaining unlawfully after lawful entry. तो पहले पार्ट में तो ये है कि कोई पर्सन दूसरे की प्रॉपर्टी में with certain intention enter into or enter upon the property. दूसरे में ये है सेकेंड पार्ट में कि remaining unlawfully after lawful entry. The entry is lawful, but later on when he comes on the actual knowledge what is the situation, he remains there. वहां से हट जाना चाहिए लेकिन अभी भी बने हुए, then this entry becomes unlawful. So section 441 has two constituents to it. The first part of the section deal with a person who enter into the property of another either lawfully or unlawfully with the intention of committing an offense or to intimidate, insult or annoy any person in possession of such property. Therefore, in the first part, the entry of the person itself should be with the object stated above. The second part of the section deal with a situation where the entry of a person into or upon the property is lawful, but his continuing presence there becomes unlawful. Not only should the continuing presence become unlawful, but it should be with the intent to intimidate, insult or annoy any such person or with intent to commit an offense. There is a leading case on this point. The state of Maharashtra versus Tanba Sadadhio Kunbi. It is a Bombay High Court decision, All India Reporter 1964, page number 82. In this case, accused was a vice chairman of a school committee. He entered the school and beat up two boys who had quarreled with his nephew. At that time, the headmaster was not present. Subsequently, the headmaster returned and reprimanded the accused that as a respectable person, he should not have trespassed into the school and beaten the boys. The accused was incensed abused the headmaster and tried to manhandle him. The headmaster pushed him back and subsequently the accused left, threatening physical harm to the headmaster as soon as thank you. Again I am repeating. The headmaster pushed him back and subsequently the accused left, threatening physical harm to the headmaster as soon as he came out of the school. The Bombay High Court held that this case would be covered by the second part of section 441 IPC. However, if the remaining is unlawful but not with the requisite intention to commit an offence or to intimidate, insult or annoy the person in possession, then it will not amount to an offence under this section. Section 447 provides punishment for criminal trespass of imprisonment of either description for a term up to 3 months or fine that may extend to 500 or both. Next part of this offence is aggravated form of criminal trespass. The aggravated form of criminal trespass as articulated under the Indian Penal Code are based on either the way in which criminal trespass is committed or the end for which it is committed. Against this background, it is obvious that aggravated forms of criminal trespass are: first, house trespass. House trespass is incorporated under section 442, 448 to 452. Second, lurking house trespass. So section 443, 453 to 455 and 459. Third is house breaking. 445, 453 to 455, 459. Fourth is lurking house trespass by night. Lurking house trespass by night. Section 444, 456 to 58 and 460. And house breaking by night. So there are 5 types of the aggravated form, 5 aggravated forms of criminal trespass. First is house trespass. Section 442 defines the offence of house trespass, while 448 stipulates the punishment. 449 to 452 deal with different aggravated forms of trespass, house trespass. House trespass means here whoever commits criminal trespass by entering into or remaining in any building, tent, vessel used as a human dwelling, or any building used as a place for worship or as a place for the custody of property is said to commit house trespass. The introduction of any part of criminal trespasser's body is entering sufficient to constitute house trespass. Explanation say that the introduction of any part of the criminal trespasser's body is entering sufficient to constitute house trespass. And punishment of house trespass is up to 1 year or fine, that is up to 1000 rupees or both. So house trespass is treated as an aggravated form of offence of criminal trespass, just as section 380 makes theft in a building an aggravated form of theft. The language of this section and 380 is almost similar. The only difference between house trespass as defined in section 442 and criminal trespass and 441 is that the offence of criminal trespass is committed when a person enters into or upon any property of anyone with intent to commit an offence or to intimidate or to insult or to annoy him. While house trespass can only be made in respect of building, tent or vessel used as a human dwelling or any place used for worshipping or as a place for the custody of property. The offence of house trespass is defined with reference to the offence of criminal trespass. Thus, the offence of house trespass must have all the ingredients of criminal trespass, including the intention to commit an offence, annoyance, intimidate, or insult the possessor of the property. In addition to that, the only other essential ingredient required is that the property, that may be building, tent or vessel, enter into or entered upon must be used as a human dwelling or place of worship or place for the custody of property. However, the word building does not have a fixed connotation. Therefore, a question whether a particular structure is a building or not, and whether it is used as a human dwelling or as a place for the custody of property, is a question of fact. The explanation to the section states what amounts to entry in order to constitute an offence of house trespass. In order to remove any ambiguity as to what would amount to entry, the explanation provides that the introduction of any part of the criminal trespasser's body into the property amounts to entry sufficient to constitute an offence of house trespass. पहले होता था ना, मैंने बताया था थेफ्ट वाले लेक्चर में कि वो मिट्टी की दीवारों के जो घर बने होते हैं, मिट्टी के घर, तो उसमें वो दीवार फोड़ करके सेंधमारी करके हाउस ब्रेकिंग करके घुस गए, तो मान लीजिए मुंह इतना शरीर अंदर चला गया घर के, तो any body part that enter into the premises of any building, it is sufficient to constitute offence of house trespass. Now, aggravated form of house trespass are also mentioned. Different aggravated forms of house trespass dealt under section 449 to 451 are based on the intent of the person committing house trespass. When a person enter into any building, tent or vessel in order to commit the offences specified in these sections, namely the offences punishable by death, imprisonment for life or imprisonment, he comes within the ambit of respective aggravated forms of house trespass and thereby becomes amenable to the higher punishment indicated therein. The words in order to used in these sections obviously mean with intent, with the purpose of. Thus, if the purpose in committing house trespass is the commission of the offence mentioned in these provisions, the house trespass becomes punishable with imprisonment provided in these sections. The offence of house trespass committed in order to the committing of an offence punishable with death under section 449, with imprisonment for life under section 450, and with imprisonment under section 451 are punishable with imprisonment for life or rigorous imprisonment for a term up to 10 years, simple or rigorous imprisonment for a term up to 10 years, and imprisonment of either description for a term up to 2 years respectively. However, it is immaterial whether or not the purpose of the offence for which the house trespass has been committed has been achieved or not. In Matiullah Sheikh versus State of West Bengal, All India Reporter 1965, Supreme Court, page number 132, the Honorable Supreme Court held that the expression in order to the committing of any offence appearing in section 449 to 451 does not mean actual commission of the offence specified therein to attract higher punishment provided under these sections. So today I have discussed the meaning and necessary element of criminal trespass and its other ingredients, and in summary the aggravated form of criminal trespass. In next lecture I will continue further offense of further offenses. Okay, thank you very much.